We're learning lately that fact and truth-based media we thought was free isn't exactly free. We're also learning that media figures who don't bow down to the Trump agenda are at risk of being silenced. I'm Tatum, the Advocacy and Development Coordinator at Progress Texas, and we've hit an emergency low threshold of 3 months of funding remaining. If you've come to rely on our work supporting the truth and standing up for progressive ideas and actions, we need your help. If only 10% of our audience signed up as monthly contributors of at least $10 per month, we'd make our goal of funding for the next year, during which we'll be covering the all-important 2026 midterm elections and so much more. Please help Progress Texas keep going and join the fight with our summer vacation membership drive, happening now at progresstexas.org. Thank you.
My name is Sean Cotter, and I'm the president of the Humble Area Democrats. I love Progress Texas because with today's media environment where people cannot get the facts, I can turn to Progress Texas and get the facts about what's going on in Texas every day.
It's Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. We have breaking news from Punch Bowl News this morning. The first concrete details on the new congressional map that Texas Republican lawmakers are proposing on behalf of Donald Trump to stack the deck in 2026. Ali Mutnick and Jake Sherman at Punch Bowl say that as early as today, GOP lawmakers are expected to release a map featuring 5 new seats that Trump would have carried by 10 or more points in 2024, which would create an even more lopsided advantage of 30 Republicans to 8 Democrats in the Texas congressional delegation in the next Congress. That would be up from the current scenario of 25 Republicans, 12 Democrats, and 1 vacancy. 3 of those newly carved districts are likely to be in or around Austin, Dallas, and Houston, with the other 2 centered in the Rio Grande Valley. The current Democratic targets starting in the RGV are Congressman Henry Cuellar of the 28th District, which is already pretty damn red. It went to Trump by 7 points last year. Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, who's in a similar situation in the 34th District. Up in DFW, freshman Congresswoman Julie Johnson, Texas's first LGBTQ plus representative in the U.S. House, whose 32nd district was packed by Republicans with Democratic voters ahead of the 2022 cycle. As Punch Bowl says, now they want it back. Also in DFW, Congressman Mark Veazey in the 33rd District, which spans from Fort Worth to Dallas. Punch Bowl believes the new map will cut out the Fort Worth part of that district. And the 2 districts in Austin, the 35th, represented by Congressman Greg Casar, and the 37th, represented by Congressman Lloyd Doggett, look likely to be consolidated into one, potentially setting the stage for a primary race for that single Austin seat between those 2. Action in Houston as well, with a newly drawn red district likely reducing the number of safe Democratic seats representing Texas's largest and most diverse city from 4 to 3. With the current vacancy in the 18th District, the 3 remaining representatives, Lizzie Fletcher, Sylvia Garcia, and Al Green, would theoretically all still have seats to run in. As far as dummy mandering, Punch Bowl says Republicans feel confident that every seat that Trump carried with at least 60% of the vote under the current Texas map will remain at that margin or better under the new map, with the 5 new seats ranging in Republican-leaning partisan voter indexes ranging from +3, which is a bit tight, to +8. Republicans are also betting on the rightward shift of Hispanic voters in Texas to hold steady through next year. This new map is likely to feature more majority Hispanic districts than before, and the GOP is confident they will keep those voters, even as gangs of masked immigration agents continue to terrorize those communities and their local economies continue to stall. No segment of the electorate is poised to play a bigger role in the 2026 midterms than Latino voters, and last year's figures are stark. Those voters helped dozens of Texas congressional districts move well to the right at the presidential level between 2020 and 2024, some by double digits. It's definitely a gamble, though. Should those same voters feel differently in an election that doesn't feature Donald Trump, or should there be a wave of buyer's remorse among them that swings things back to blue? This new map could potentially backfire huge. Congressman Vicente Gonzalez calls this GOP bet, quote, very risky, especially in light of the ICE raids and the abusive manner in which they've been detaining and deporting people and businesses in South Texas, unquote. As we've talked quite a bit about, Democrats in the Texas House and Senate are not without options here, and this Trump power grab has only a limited time to become official. Members of the Texas Legislative Progressive Caucus have announced a press conference to discuss their commitment to fighting back for today at 4 p.m. or upon adjournment of the House for the day. We expect to hear from House Reps Gina Hinojosa, Jolanda Jones, Ron Reynolds, John Bryant, and others this afternoon or early evening. Update on that to follow tomorrow. John Moritz at the Austin American-Statesman adds that U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is going to be in Austin later today for a private meeting with Democratic members of the legislature on how they might derail or at least delay the Texas Republican scheme to scuttle the congressional map enacted by those same GOP lawmakers just 4 years ago for Donald Trump. Moritz says members of the Texas House and Senate are being asked to hold open their calendars from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight for a closed-door session with Minority Leader Jeffries. The exact location remains undisclosed. National Democrats are priming for a major offensive. The New York Times on Monday reported that a super PAC is working to raise as much as $20 million specifically to target Texas Republicans in Congress next year with a new account called the Lone Star Fund, which is already running ads directed at Republican U.S. Reps Dan Crenshaw, Lance Gooden, Beth Van Dyne, and Monica De La Cruz for their votes against Medicaid. See one of those ads linked in the show notes this morning. There's also a Democratic presser earlier today, set for this morning at 10. This one spearheaded by Dallas State Senator Nathan Johnson, who will be joined by members of the Texas Senate Democratic Caucus and community stakeholders to talk about cannabis legislation in the wake of the passage of Dan's ban last week. In an almost unanimous vote of the Senate State Affairs Committee, Senator Judith Zaffirini was the only Democrat on the committee and the only vote against. SB 5 is basically identical to the bill that Governor Abbott vetoed after the regular session, which almost seems to me to have just been a pretext, perhaps, for getting a special session started when Trump's redistricting demands were the primary goal here, not to even mention relief for the thousands of Texans devastated in the July 4th flood. Austin listeners and soccer fans, take note. We're planning a live podcast recording event for Monday, September 15th with All-Star Austin goalkeeper Brad Stuver, co-hosted by Landon Cottam of the great Austin FC podcast Moon Tower Soccer. We're going to be talking about Brad's progressive activism along with his wife Ashley, both of their ventures into political advocacy, including their own Brad and Ashley Stuver Foundation, and the courage it takes for public figures to stand up for what's right these days. Plus great beers, of course. This is all happening at Hop Squad Brewery in North Austin, near the stadium. Sponsorship opportunities are open right now, and individual tickets will be on sale soon at progresstexas.org. See the show notes for a link. Again, mark your calendar for Monday, September 15th. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the billionaire and corporate-funded conservative disinformation machine at a moment when funding for public and independent media outlets and media figures who don't bow down to MAGA is under full attack. Progress Texas relies on listener support to keep going, but we've lately come within 3 months of running out of funding. We're thus in the middle of our summer vacation membership drive. If just 10% of our audience signs up for a monthly donation of at least $10, we'd be good for the next year, and we'd like to avoid going on a permanent vacation, so we could use your support now as a monthly contributor. Please join the fight against authoritarianism and for progress in Texas right now at progresstexas.org. Thanks to brand new monthly supporters Cheryl Thorpe, Ashley Lawrence, and Giorgio Vasquez. We appreciate all three of you very, very much. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit, rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, and we'll catch you again tomorrow morning.